Happy holidays and welcome to the Drama Club. On this week's episode, we talk about how we got to hear both sides of the Adam Driver story, how Camila Cabello is definitely on the wrong side of her story, and then Stef tells us the story of Iron Mike Tyson. Stay tuned.
What up, fam? It's good, y'all. Feels good, right? Yeah, I know it do. And without further ado, we broadcasting live from CA to
JK
NY.
Rowling.
What's up with her?
Oh, today she tweeted some bullshit about there was a woman in the UK that her contract didn't get renewed at her job because she was purposely and inflammatorily referring to people by their wrong gender. She was misgendering people. And so
Why?
yeah. Anyway, so
You're so fucking rude.
So her contract didn't get renewed at work, and then she sued for wrongful termination, and it went to the high courts over there, and they ruled against her. And so JK Rowling tweeted in support of this woman.
What? Why? Oh, it's on the front page of Yahoo. Beloved author accused of being transphobic by fans.
She said, "Dress however you please, call yourself whatever you like, sleep with any consenting adult who will have you, live your best life in peace and security, but force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real. Hashtag I stand with Maya. Hashtag this is not a drill."
Whoa.
Yeah, it's she wasn't forced out of her. She was telling people if someone's name is Julie, she was calling them Jack. She was being inflammatory, and it's degrading and dehumanizing to call someone out of their stated gender. That's really shitty.
Yeah.
And it's a hostile work environment.
And if she's the kind of person that does this, just imagine what kind of person this is.
Right. And
she
she's,
probably had
defending
a
her.
right to fucking fire this bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck that bitch. Whatever.
Yeah, so JK is obviously taking heat for this.
Yeah, that's somebody who's very beloved.
Right. So the Human Rights Campaign, had to put out a tweet that was trans women are women, trans men are men, non-binary people are non-binary people. This is not a conversation that we need to keep having. Just accept it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's bullshit. I saw something the other day that was there's a Reddit subreddit that goes viral all the time called The Right Can't Meme. Have you ever seen that one?
No, I haven't seen it, but
it's
I imagine.
Yeah, hella conservative memes that aren't funny at all. Make no goddamn sense. And it was boy, girl. And it was these are genders. And then it was all the other trans and non-binary symbols. Mm-hmm. And it was these are mental epidemics or something. It was so stupid.
Somebody's grandma definitely posted that on Facebook.
On Facebook, yeah. And they always show found by a crazy person on Facebook. It's always the craziest shit.
This is just another one of those things where it's just be quiet.
There you go.
Why does she have to jump in? This woman has all the money in the world.
Seriously, did you really have to defend this bitch? Is that who you're gonna go down for? JK Rowling? Who the fuck is this lady?
Ugh. Yeah, so that happened.
Go down defending fucking Harry Potter when he gets caught fucking a blimp or something. What's that fool's name? Elijah Wood? No, right?
Daniel. I was gonna say Craig, but that's wrong.
That's the only Daniel we care about on this podcast. It's not Craig. It's not Day Lewis. It's not Caesar.
I don't know.
Whatever.
What was your ex's name?
Oh,
yeah.
Delete that shit. Fuck that fool.
You're a happily married woman.
Fuck that fool. He could suck my dick.
Hey. So what did we say we were going to talk about?
Adam Driver, Camila Cabello.
Oh, okay.
Adam Driver's is the most funny to me, and because fucking that movie's so good, and he's gonna get nominated for an Oscar for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Her too, and probably gonna be best original screenplay nomination.
So Adam Driver had an interview with the icon, the legend, Terry Gross on NPR.
Before you get into it, could it not have been NPR? Like, it could have been anybody else. And I think we would have been like, yeah, fuck them, whatever. Like, E-News or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But it had to be NPR. And go ahead.
And Terry Gross.
Yeah.
And he was there to promote.
Goddamn legend.
a slew of projects that he has, including Marriage Story. I think specifically for Marriage Story, but of course he's also in
the Amazon movie.
Yeah, The Report.
The Report,
and also in Star Wars.
Right.
So anyway, he has a phobia about hearing or seeing himself, like any footage of himself from his acting, which is not uncommon. You hear that often from actors.
Right.
And so Terry Gross's team was like, okay, cool. So when we play the clip, we'll let you know so you can like step away or whatever, do what you need to do.
Right.
And then we'll let you know when you can come back. And
which they've done before, right?
They did during his 2015 interview.
Okay.
So it's like, all right, Adam, now's the time. So he like steps away, but then just goes away. I mean, I understand the phobia. I understand that. And people are anxious about a whole lot of things. And like, you do what you have to do. But like, this was like an agreed upon interview. They're like, all right, this is how it's going to go. Cool. Right. And like, both sides are like, fine.
Right. Which maybe he's exhausted and like maybe his anxiety is like just taking a peak at this time. But couldn't that have been said at some point, like before?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, he's a professional. Like, I imagine you've done this before, right? Like,
it's part of your job,
right? It's not a good look at all, and it's not a good look, especially because it's NPR and Terry, yeah.
Because also, I think that, especially given the fact that they've done it before with him specifically, like,
right?
You know, and I don't know, they did their best to accommodate him. Like, he goes in the green room during his movie premieres. I've heard that.
Yeah.
So he doesn't just leave the movie premieres.
Right. It's part of the gig.
Yeah. I mean, I feel for him. Like, this is like a shitty thing. Like, if this is your anxiety and like this is your job, like, it's fucking sucks, man. But
yeah, but can't do that, bro. You can't just walk out like that. That's fucked up. People are working. Like, they have this shit set up for you. Like, how much money are you costing them? I mean, now it's become viral, so whatever. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure it's all right, but still.
And also, a lot of people jump to his defense, and there is like a both sides situation to this.
For sure.
So we do need to like acknowledge people's mental health, especially when it's stated, like when he was open to it, open about it like this.
Right.
But they accommodated him. You know?
Exactly, yeah.
So anyway, someone was saying like, oh, I'm taking note of all the people who are jumping to his defense, but wouldn't jump to like an actress's defense. Like,
yeah.
You know?
How about that? Yeah. People would just be like, oh, what a bitch. And they would just write her off, you know?
Mm-hmm. I was thinking that there's a lot of actresses or actors in general who are uncomfortable with nudity, let's say.
Right.
And so the producers of a film will say, okay, well, if you want to do this film, how about we get you a stand-in or a double,
or you do like what is that, like in simulated nudity or whatever. Yeah,
right. So both sides are like, cool. What if like when that day comes on set and their double comes in, they just walk off the set, you know, and never to return?
That'd be fucking crazy.
Yeah, everyone would be going crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, not a good look, Mr. Driver. Great fucking movie, though, bro.
Yeah, really good movie.
That fool knows how to act.
He's very talented.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I always figured, I've been following him since Girls. He's very talented, but like, I think he's like really stepping his game up.
Yeah, for sure. Picking the right movies.
Yeah, true.
Channing Tatum and Jessie J split up, May.
How do we know?
Because it's on the cover of People magazine right now. It's on people.com.
So they announced it. They had a joint statement.
Yeah, I'm trying to click on it, but I think my computer's fucking up because I was trying to look for the ASAP Rocky sex tape. It's like, what are you doing? They dated for over a year. The couple called it quits. Oh, their source. There wasn't any drama. They decided to part ways. They're still good friends. Okay.
That doesn't... They never completely made sense as a couple.
Right. Me either.
I mean...
Yeah. For both parties, right? Like, I can't imagine her with him, and I can't imagine him with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a rebound type situation.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So what else happened, May?
You ever see that video of Jessie J singing that people always use as like a as a reaction on Twitter, like when she's like, no, 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 no.
Oh.
That's one of my favorite videos.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. So Camila Cabello.
Okay, so yes, tell me about this because I couldn't find the posts. I saw the headline and like I see what's happening, but I don't know what she had posted that like exactly.
So Camila Cabello randomly posted to her Instagram something really cryptic. She said, "I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart." And then she posted this long ass thing where she said she didn't specifically say what it was about, but she was like, "When I was younger, I used language that I'm deeply ashamed of and will regret forever." And like she goes on to talk about how she was ignorant and uneducated and that she didn't understand the meaning behind this quote unquote horrible language that she used. And she apologizes and she wished she could go back and change it. And she's like, "I'm 22 now. I'm an adult. I'm grown. And I've learned and am conscious and aware of the history of the pain it carries in a way that I wasn't before." So, I mean, okay. So then that shows up and everyone's like, okay, what the fuck is she talking about? Turns out that a few hours before, someone found her old Tumblr and they started posting a series of mostly racist things that she had posted. It included things like...
I saw that they were all taken down.
Yeah, but the person who found them archived them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's all there. Okay, let's see. So there's like racist memes. There's like one where a little black boy is looking at a piece of fried chicken and then looking at a watermelon and smiling.
Oh, wow.
There's one where a white basketball player is playing against a black basketball player, and the white basketball player seems like she has, in the real image, seems like she would have the basketball in her hand, but in the meme, the basketball has been replaced by a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken, and the black basketball player is like looking up at her. You see it?
What the fuck? That is so stupid, May.
There's one where it's Piglet from Winnie the Pooh, only black and something that rhymes with Piglet.
Piglet did blackface.
Yeah. There's repeated uses of the N-word.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
There's some stuff about just like unfunny, really
yeah, this is
like shitty
funny.
jokes.
Like, who the fuck even thinks this is funny, bro?
About Mexican people, about...
Isn't she Latin American?
She's Cuban.
Oh, okay.
She posted a meme about Rihanna where it says, "Rihanna's IQ is 117. Can you beat her?" And then there's a photo of Chris Brown that says, "I already did." There's more stuff about black people and chicken.
Okay, I got it.
There's a thing about Chinese people. Lots of more uses of the N-word. It's the N-word with a hard R this time. Yeah. It goes on and on. So this isn't one post. This isn't 2 or 3. This is
a crap ton.
Yeah.
So then Camila issued an apology saying she was 15 years old at the time she was running that Tumblr, and she's older now and she realizes that it was wrong and it's from the bottom of her heart and yada, yada, yada.
I think like we've said this before, there's obviously things that I wish that I wouldn't have said or done at 15, even at her age at 22. But
fuck yeah. Are you kidding me?
Like this is a pattern of behavior that is very scary.
I still use my Tumblr from when I was like not 15, but I was probably like 18, 19. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you see some shit there?
There's no racist shit in my Tumblr. Like, you know, like
right.
Yeah, this is something else, girl.
Yeah. And this isn't the first time she's been called out about racism. I haven't really like super followed her, but I guess there had been some issue. She might have used the N-word in reference to her what band is she from? I mean, group.
She's in a group?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
Fifth Harmony?
Oh, really? I didn't know that at all.
Well, there's one of the girls in Fifth Harmony is black, and I think she referenced her.
Oh, no.
She referred to her as the N-word at some point.
Oh, wow. That's fucking disgusting.
So, like Gina Rodriguez, this is a thing that keeps coming up for her.
Right.
And so I think people were happy to finally have her like really exposed, because I think she had laughed off the previous use of the N-word.
Yeah. Tried to act like it was a one-time thing or something like that. Yeah, that's no good.
You don't like her, huh? From the jump?
Yeah, I never liked Camila Cabello. I don't like that song that everybody loved.
I don't like that song.
I didn't even know she was in Fifth Harmony, but I don't even think I know anything of Fifth Harmony.
All I know is that she's in it, and also that girl Normani.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. I remember Shawn Mendes was like one time apologizing also for like some racially insensitive comments he made.
Huh.
I know.
All right.
Not a good time to break up with that guy. Time to do your fake breakup now. Shawn Mendes people are freaking out right now.
Break glass in case of emergency.
They're like, holy shit. We tried to link him up with a brown girl to make his image increase in popularity. Now we got a racist brown girl. This is some fucked up shit.
I was not expecting this.
Yeah,
actually.
me either. That was like out of nowhere.
And I just think I'm like shocked by the sheer amount.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty like shocking to say the least. I'm in 2013 of my Tumblr.
Still nothing racist.
No, it's like gifs of Gwen and Eve. Oh, I used to watch Sons of Anarchy. I forgot about that show.
Okay, some Sons motorcycles out there.
Yeah, some Sons of Anarchy stuff, some purses.
All right. Not a single piglet in blackface?
No, a little gif of Bender. Who's this guy?
Bender the robot?
Yeah, Bender the robot.
Okay. Bender's Mexican, right? That's a Mexican hero right there.
Hell yeah, Bender's
His name is Sanchez?
Sanchez, right? Yeah, fucking Bender's a queen. Oh, some new girl gifs. Oh, I got a cool gif of Maya doing the dance in My Love Is Like Whoa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nothing racist yet. I mean,
keep digging.
I know. See, that's fucking crazy. That sucks.
A lot of the excuses when shit like this pops up is like, oh, I didn't know better. I was like so young back then. Like,
where'd you grow up though? How did you not know better? Like, where are you from?
Yeah.
The fuck? That's crazy. You did know better.
Yeah. You just didn't care.
You thought that you were better. Yeah.
Right.
I got this gift. On this day in 2003, Alicia Keys made the thirstiest phone call in the history of the world. And it's that screenshot of her calling Mos Def in that one video, You Don't Know My Name.
Yeah. Hello? I like that song.
I love that song. I love that video too. Yeah. For a while there, she made some good ass videos, because then that other song, If I Ain't Got You, is the music video with Method Man, and it's so good. Yeah. I don't care for that song that much, but yeah. Oh, that video is good. I just like Method Man.
Yeah, he's like really swaggy.
He's got hella New York swag too.
Yeah.
It's a specific breed of swag. If you could pull off Timberlands and a puffy jacket, then you got it going on.
Method Man is the only man who could call me shorty.
1000%.
Hey, yo, shorty, come over here.
And I would go.
I would walk very swiftly, not running because I got dignity, but like I would make my way over there.
You don't have no dignity, bitch. What are you talking about?
Hey, yo, shorty, come over here. Meet me at the bodega. Get me a ham and cheese.
Are you ready physically for this training?
All right.
Speaking of New York men, I'm up.
Oh, okay.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, wait, who are you?
Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I'm shawty. Shawty over here. This is my shawty May. Introduce yourself, bitch.
Hey, yo, what's good, y'all? My name May. Coming at you all the way from Staten Island.
I'm taking the ferry to hook up with my mans.
He waited for me at the bodega.
Oh, man. I love a bodega.
This is the Drama Club. This is the podcast all about New York.
Celebrities, scandals, gossip, drama, movies, TV, film, music. Camila Cabello is a musician, right?
Allegedly.
Right.
Anxiety.
I'm up this week, and I'm going to talk about Mike Tyson.
Iron Mike
Tyson.
Okay.
For this, I paid to rent the 2009 documentary Tyson, so y'all are welcome.
2000, was it HBO?
It was no. There's an HBO one called The Undisclosed Truth.
Okay.
I watched part of that one. I also watched one on YouTube called The Fallen Champ, which was made like in 2001 or something like that.
Okay. There's a biopic also.
Yeah, I started watching that one, but it's kind of corny, dude.
It's so corny. I've seen it.
Yeah, I watched like maybe 20 minutes of the beginning, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Because that one's on HBO for free. So
it is?
Yeah, so I was like, oh, let me just watch this. And then I saw that the documentary, I was going to have to pay for it. And I was like, I'll just watch this. And then I was like, nah, never mind.
I love a corny biopic sometimes, though. That shit.
Yeah, like if it's on Lifetime, then it's like, all right. But this shit was on HBO. I was
and then like their Don King shows up, and then I was like, oh hell yeah, because how you like think about it, like a low budget biopic of Don King, like you throw a wig on some guy.
Yeah, they put like a fucking broom on that fool. Like
yeah, exactly.
Like go out there and act ridiculous. Here's some money. All right. Michael Gerard Tyson was born in Brooklyn, New York on June 30th, 1966.
Where Brooklyn at?
He has an older brother named Rodney and an older sister named Denise.
Oh.
Mike's birth father, Purcell, was originally from Jamaica, but Michael never knew him. He left before Mike was born.
Okay. But they all have the same father?
I actually don't know. I never really even thought to look that up. Mm-hmm. So he grew up thinking that his father was a man named Jimmy Kirkpatrick from North Carolina.
Okay.
He met Mike's mom, Lorna May, in 1965, like right before Mike was born. Mm-hmm. He was a street dude who loved gambling, pool halls, and never really got it together as a father figure. Eventually, he would leave Mike's mother and the family, and he ended up dying in 1992. So Mike didn't have a great relationship, even with the guy he thought was his dad.
Yeah. Like if you're going to get involved with someone, like a woman who has like 3 kids, I feel like
you should have it pretty together.
Right.
Right.
Because you're going to step into this role, like whether you want to or not, of being a part of those kids' lives, and like to play with them like that shit's not cool.
Right. So Mike's mother cared for the kids on her own, and they moved to Brownsville, which is a high crime area of Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. Mike had some pet pigeons as a kid, which he flew and traded and stole from other kids who also played with pigeons in his neighborhood. Like this is something that kids in his neighborhood did.
Okay.
His first fight was allegedly with a kid who twisted and pulled the head off of one of his pet pigeons.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Mike was always committing petty crimes and fighting, especially because, like, we know Mike, he has a really high-pitched voice and a lisp.
Yeah.
So it made him an easy target for bullies. Mm-hmm. He was also overweight as a kid, and as a child of welfare, he had dirty clothes and never really had much to eat and everything. So he said he always felt very vulnerable growing up.
Yeah.
He said that as a kid, his house was always getting robbed, and his environment forced him to become more assertive, outgoing, and eventually aggressive. He said that his aggressiveness stems from being humiliated as a kid and being afraid of everyone. So he started hustling with some kids around his neighborhood by selling drugs and robbing houses. And by the age of 13, Mike had been arrested 38 times.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How come he hasn't been sent to like juvie or something?
I don't know, because it's all petty shit and they probably didn't care because of where he was from.
Yeah.
Just arrest him and send his ass back out there.
Right.
His family, though, they ended up sending him to the Tyrone School for Boys, which is like, Call him. Bobby Stewart, who was a juvie counselor and former boxer at the school, discovered Mike's fighting abilities. Mike called him Irish Bobby Stewart.
Was he really Irish?
Yeah. So Mike started going to watch some of Bobby's workouts, and then he started joining in on them.
Oh.
So Bobby considered Mike to be an outstanding fighter and helped him train for a few months. And Mike said that joining boxing helped him do better in school and be more polite, since it made him want to avoid getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Because now he had something that he loved and he looked forward to. So he was like, they could take this away from me.
Yeah. And also it gives him a way to channel his aggression.
Right.
And it's just like...
Exercise releases endorphins.
Right, exactly.
All hella positive shit. Mm-hmm. When his talent started to grow, Bobby introduced Mike to boxing manager and trainer Cus D'Amato. Mm-hmm. Mike loved Cus. Mm-hmm. I think that he was like one of the first men that Mike really trusted. Cus taught him all about boxing, discipline, character, and what he describes as what fighting was truly about. So there was like some deep ass conversations going on between the two of them.
Yeah. Like the next Karate Kid.
Yeah, and Mike is super young and impressionable, so I'm sure this is like crazy for him.
Right.
Cus's encouragement is what Mike believes really built up his confidence as a teen and as a fighter. When Cus introduced Mike to his house, Mike says, "First, I thought of robbing him since the house was so nice." But Cus talked to him about how he had grown up in the hood too and focused on making an honest living, and that Mike could do that for himself also. So instead, Mike says he tried to just do everything that Cus told him to do. Like from that point on, he was like, I trusted him, like I trusted in his vision, and I wanted to just be like him.
Shout out to people who step up to mentor
someone
kids
like Mike.
Like this. Yeah. Because it doesn't really like cost you that much to just like be there for someone and just tell them.
Right.
You are in control of your own destiny. You know?
It's your time. Like really, it's all about your time.
Right.
In the documentary, when Mike is talking about Cus and like this, like when he first met him and stuff, and seeing his house and stuff, he starts crying pretty bad. It's sad.
Oh.
Mike says that he never really believed his mother was happy or proud of him. She just kind of saw him as another kid running wild in the streets.
Oh, man.
She died when Mike was 16 years old. And Mike says that he never really got a chance to know her, and that was emotionally and personally crushing for him. So then he dropped out of school, and Cus D'Amato became his legal guardian and took him into his house.
Wow.
I know. Mike said this was the first time in his life that he ever had like chores, responsibilities, and that this really changed him forever. Mm-hmm. He said once he came into the care of Cus, he finally stopped worrying about other people bullying him.
Oh.
And Cus made really similar sentiments in really early interviews about Mike. He says that Mike changed his life because Mike came into his life when he was pretty much retired. Like he was already very much older. And he says that Mike and training Mike and trying to be a figure for Mike brought a lot of meaning back into his life.
That's amazing.
Isn't that so sweet?
Yeah. So look at that. Like doing something like that not only helps the person that you're trying to help, but also is so personally fulfilling that you get a lot out of it too.
Right. As an amateur, Mike won gold medals at the 1981 and 1982 Junior Olympics, defeating Joe Cortez in 1981 and beating Kelton Brown in 1982. Brown's corner threw in the towel after the first round of the match with Mike.
Shit.
He then fought a man named Henry Tillman twice as an amateur, losing both bouts by decision. Mike's professional debut took place on March 6th, 1985 in Albany, New York.
And he's like a little baby.
18 years old, May.
That's wild.
He fought and defeated Hector Mercedes via first round TKO.
Wow.
That first year, he fought 15 times. And out of his first 28 fights, he won 26 of them by knockout or TKO.
Yeah.
And 16 of those wins came in the first round.
Insane.
It's fucking insane.
He's a kid.
Yeah.
He's beating grown men.
He's Iron Man.
Yeah.
His win streak attracted hella media attention, and he was being billed as the next great heavyweight champion this early on.
Yeah. And remember that back then it was like heavyweights really ruled boxing.
Yeah.
We don't really see that anymore.
No.
But that was the era of the heavyweight. So it was like to be discussed as like the next great heavyweight champion. That
really meant something.
Yeah, that was huge.
Mike said that at this time in his life, he was training pretty much every day, loving every minute of it. And he says, this made me a really dangerous fighter because the happiest fighters are the best fighters.
You know, that's funny because I would have thought the
Angry?
opposite.
Yeah. He said that he grew up loving lighter weight fighters and idolizing them because of their speed and technique. And he liked the excitement of seeing like a lightweight fight because they just move quicker.
Yeah. I mean, I do too. I get it.
So, me too. And that's why I think we see now more lighter weight fighters. So Mike says that's what he always tried to emulate, even though he's over 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Cus D'Amato passed away in November 1985, very early on into Mike's professional career, and obviously a crushing defeat to Mike personally.
Right.
He was in New York with his manager, Jim Jacobs, at the time, who broke the news to him at a bank.
Oh, man.
Mike said he started crying hysterically while the bank teller deposited a $100,000 check for a fight that he had just won.
Holy shit.
Mike said that losing Cus made him feel like he had lost his whole life and he didn't know where to go from there. He was only 19 years old.
Yeah.
When he talks about this, he said he still feels really awful about Cus not getting to see his career progress as a heavyweight fighter.
But I mean, he saw something. He
right?
saw that he took the first steps, which is good.
Yeah. Most people mark the death of Cus D'Amato as the catalyst of the many troubles that Mike was to experience in his career as it progressed from here on.
Yeah.
His first nationally televised bout took place on February 16th, 1986 against Jesse Ferguson. Mike knocked him down with an uppercut in the 5th round and broke his nose.
Fuck.
During the 6th round, the referee stopped the fight, and Tyson had originally won by DQ as Ferguson kept, I guess, like holding Tyson back to stop him from fighting.
Yeah.
But it was later adjusted by TKO after his corner protested that it would fuck up his stats.
Oh, okay.
Mike said he abstained from sex for 5 years in the beginning of his career since he had read a lot about how great fighters did that before fights.
But for a whole, like, he fought 15 times that year. So.
Right. So, okay, so I don't know. This is what Mike says in this documentary, but then I was listening to his interview with Joe Rogan this year, and he says, like, the opposite. He's like, I used to fuck before a fight because, like, I didn't want to have to be thinking about that stuff while I was fighting. So I don't know, you know, it's like kind of like Mike telling the story about himself and yeah. But anyways, he said that he was always super interested in women and sex, and he like really goes into it in the documentary. He said that his mom and her friends where he grew up, they were all really sexually promiscuous, and he always heard a lot about sex growing up as a kid. So sex always intrigued him, and once he was able to get women's attention, he just couldn't get enough of it.
Hey baby, come look at my pigeons.
In July, after 6 additional knockout victories, Mike fought the former world title challenger Marvis Frazier. He won easily when he charged at Frazier and knocked him out unconscious with an uppercut 30 seconds into the fight.
One of the most famous knockouts of all time.
Yeah, that one always comes up on YouTube. If you just look Mike Tyson up, it's like the first hit.
Yeah.
On November 22nd, 1986, Mike fought in his first title in a fight against Trevor Berbick. Muhammad Ali had recently taken a beating from Berbick, and he was present at the fight. Mike said that Ali went up to him right before and said, "Get him for me." Apparently, Mike had gonorrhea during this match, which he believes he had contracted from a sex worker.
Is gonorrhea the clap?
I believe so. Okay. So Mike said he was especially nervous and like itchy and shit. But ultimately, he won by TKO in the second round.
Because he wanted to take off the gloves and scratch.
I better win this quick. At 20 years old, he became the youngest heavyweight champion in history. Mike said he wore that belt everywhere, even the grocery store, to put gas in his car, fucking everywhere. People saw Mike as like a real champ, and at this point, they were already comparing him to Muhammad Ali and Rocky Marciano.
You for sure wear the belt during sex, right? Like, I mean, I would.
I mean, I mean, if he's wearing it to the grocery store, I imagine, you know?
Yeah, you got to. I mean,
yeah.
Come on now.
Mike's style of fighting is super intimidating. He's super combative. He has outstanding hand speed, accuracy, coordination, timing, and defensive abilities, which he learned all from Cus D'Amato.
And also, he's physically intimidating.
Yeah, like his
build.
He's got a big head and neck and arms. Yeah. Like he's just big. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And he's just a character.
Yeah.
The way he talks, the way he intimidates his opponents. He's just somebody that puts on a fucking show.
Yeah.
One of his signature moves was a right hook to his opponent's body, followed by a right uppercut to his opponent's chin. Lorenzo Boyd, Jesse Ferguson, and Jose Ribalta were all knocked out by Mike by that combo.
Wow. That's scary that you know it's coming.
I know, like, dude, imagine.
And you can't avoid it.
And at this point, Mike's reputation is fucking insane, and the pressure and expectations were high.
What year are we in?
1986, 87.
Okay.
On March 7, 1987, he defended the title against James Smith in Las Vegas, winning by unanimous decision and adding Smith's World Boxing Association title to his belt.
Oh,
okay. The media headlines began running with the term Tyson Mania to describe his fans and just everything surrounding him. Mm-hmm. He beat Pinkleton Thomas in May by TKO in the 6th round. In August, he took the International Boxing Federation title from Tony Tucker in a 12-round unanimous decision.
Oh, so that's it. So he unified the title.
Yep. At this point, he became the first heavyweight to unify all 3 major titles, WBA, WBC, and IBF.
First heavyweight?
First heavyweight.
Wow.
He ended off the year with a win against 1984 Olympic super heavyweight gold medalist Tyrell Biggs in the 7th round. Mike says that at this point, the whole world knew who he was. He's talking about this in the thing, and he's like, I met the president of Istanbul. I met the president of Chechnya. They didn't even speak English, but they wanted me to come to their country. He had a parade thrown in his honor in Moscow. He flew to Japan. He said, people handed me comic books about me. They had drawn comic books about me as a fighter. He said he felt like fucking incredible, like he was on top of the world.
I bet.
Yeah. He had women pursuing him. Everybody wanted to be with this fool. Mm-hmm. And he said everybody wanted to talk to me. Everybody wanted to talk to the champ. Everybody wanted to take pictures of the champ. He was like a fucking hero. And another big thing about Mike and his story is that people love like his story, that he came from nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And now look at how far he had flown. Mm-hmm. And then Nintendo came knocking.
Oh.
By President Minoru Arakawa, who approached Mike after witnessing one of his fights in Vegas. He was so impressed by his power and skills that he asked Mike if he would be included in the upcoming Punch-Out arcade game. And in 1987, they officially released Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which was well received and sold more than 1 million copies.
One of the greatest video games of all time.
That's the best, right? You know what's funny is I was thinking about the Simpsons parody. Like they have a Punch-Out parody.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what's that guy's name on The Simpsons?
I don't know, but he's also like a boxer, like a
he
bald.
Talks the same.
Yeah.
Latavius or something.
Yeah. That's so dope. The Simpsons is so tight.
Yeah.
And around this time, you know who else came into the picture?
Robin Givens?
No, Don King.
Oh, okay.
In comes Don King with that fucking haircut.
With that broom.
Don King became Mike's promoter right around this time. For those of you that don't know, Don King is a very famous boxing promoter, known for his involvement in some of the most historic boxing matchups of all time, including the Rumble in the Jungle and the Thrilla in Manila matches with Muhammad Ali. Also known for being super flashy, fucking always with a gold ass Rolex.
And he's definitely like the Puffy of boxing promoting.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Like if his challengers would definitely be the type to be like, you want your promoter to be all in the videos,
yeah, exactly,
dancing, because he definitely wants to make it about him.
Go to death row. The next year, Mike fought 3 times. He knocked out Michael Spinks in a huge upset 91 seconds into the first round. It's considered that match to be the pinnacle of Mike's fame and boxing ability, because there was also like this huge backlash with like the other boxers that were like, he doesn't even give us a chance. Like you know, like these fights are ending within minutes. Like people are paying for nothing.
Was that really an upset though? Because it seems like he's on fire. Like I'm asking myself, all right, who's gonna beat this guy?
Yeah, like boxing experts at this time thought that this was gonna be an actual like huge fight, because Spinks had skill and Mike was obviously Mike. So they thought Mike had finally met his match. But after he stepped in and ended it in less than 2 minutes, we were like, what the fuck? Nothing could stop this guy. That's why it was like, this is it. This is the pinnacle. Mm-hmm. Mike said he knew how to beat most of the contenders psychologically before they even rang the bell. He said, I would get into their heads. I would stare them down and I would scare them. And he says, like, I would look at them and they would act like they're staring at me, but they're not really staring at me. They would look away for a second and I wouldn't look away, not for 1 second.
Damn.
So one day, this is who you're talking about. Right around this time, Mike watched a movie starring Robin Givens.
She was hot.
And yep, he had his managers get in touch with her so he could take her out.
That's a flex.
That's a super flex.
Yeah.
Robin couldn't be a bigger opposite than Mike. She was a model who grew up going to private schools and later stuttered. I stuttered. Later studied acting at Sarah Lawrence.
Oh, she went to Sarah Lawrence?
Yeah. Mike dated her for 2 weeks and then they got married.
Don't do that, you guys.
He was 21 and she was 22.
Oh, they're so young.
They're
oh my God.
So young, man. So dumb. And Mike says, I never ever stopped with my extracurricular activities on the side.
Yo.
Robin caught Michael cheating several times, leading to fights that grew only more and more violent.
Oh, no.
In the Joe Rogan podcast, he talks about this time that he was like eating with Robin breakfast and she wanted to drive home. Like they had driven like his Porsche and she wanted to drive home and he was like, okay, get the keys, they're in my pocket. And when she like went into his pocket, she pulled out condoms. So she like fucking threw a fit and like got into his Porsche and crashed it.
Yo.
Yeah.
He must have been mad.
Oh, yeah. Robin describes Michael as manic and unable to control his temper. She gave a really famous wild interview on 2020 with our best bitchy friend Barbara Walters, where she's literally sitting next to Mike and she's like, this relationship has been horrible.
Yeah. I love that interview. That was so good.
It's fucking crazy. Yeah. And Mike's just sitting there like staring at her and he's not saying shit.
Right. It kind of reminds me of, you know, that famous interview with Bill and Hillary, like from around the time that his first sort of sex scandal broke. And she's like, I'm not standing here trying to be like Tammy Wynette, stand by my man. Like it was, she's like, it's kind of like that, except for reading him. You know?
She's like really giving it to him. Yeah. Mike's managers also alleged that Robin stepped way into the management of his career just like days after they became married. So that caused additional strain between the two of them.
Okay.
Don King was allegedly mentoring Robin and her mother into how they could step into Mike's contracts to make money themselves.
That's interesting.
And Don helped draft agreements between Robin and his managers really early on into their marriage. Yeah, so it's super sketchy.
That seems like that's, if anything, that's taking money away from Don. So what's going on there?
I don't know. He probably has his pocket in Robin's money too. Or his money in Robin's pocket. Is that what I said? His hands in Robin's pockets.
Yeah.
He's got his hands on somebody's pockets.
And there's condoms in there.
And there's condoms and then she's going to crash a Porsche. After one particular fight, police officers were called to Mike and Robin's house, and this was all over the news.
Yeah.
And after only 8 months of marriage, Robin filed for divorce. Mike said that he was really heartbroken and felt really alone after their breakup, but he knew that it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
They were way too young, and everybody was way up in their business.
But
and
he did love her, though, right?
He did love her, but he's got problems. In one of the grossest things I've read about Mike in an interview years later, he said that he once punched Robin Givens in a fight and that was the best punch he's ever thrown in his entire life.
Oh my God.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
In 1989, Mike only had 2 fights amidst all of this personal turmoil that he had going on in his life. Frank Bruno stunned Mike at the end of the first round before ultimately succumbing to him in the 5th. Mike then knocked out Carl Williams in July.
I remember, I mean, I don't know if I was probably too young, but I do remember
you were like 1 year old, 2 years old.
I remember the conversation about that sort of being of Mike getting stunned and then people being huge. Like, okay, so there's something like we can do something.
He's a man.
Right.
He's mortal. By 1990, Mike wasn't committed to boxing as he had been in the previous years. His personal life was in disarray, and he was not training like he should be for an upcoming match against Buster Douglas. His sparring partners started dropping in. He was more focused on like going out, spending money, meeting women. Mm-hmm. On February 11th, 1990, Michael lost the undisputed championship to Douglas in Tokyo. He was a 32-1 favorite to win.
Who made the most money on that?
Seriously. Commentators say that Douglas was at an emotional peak during this match after losing his mother just 23 days prior, and that he had fought the fight of his life.
You know, there's actually a really fantastic 30 for 30 about Buster Douglas.
Oh, really?
And this fight specifically.
I would like to watch that.
I want to say it's called 32-1.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like that. He's really just like, this period of his life is like really fascinating.
Right, I'm sure. Mike's defeat was attributed obviously to his physical and mental unpreparedness. Mm-hmm. He was able to hit Douglas with an uppercut in the 8th round, but Douglas recovered and handed him a beating. 35 seconds into the 10th round, Douglas hit Mike with an uppercut, followed by a 4-punch combo that knocked Tyson down and led him to be counted out. Mm-hmm. This knockout against the, quote, baddest man on the planet and most feared boxer has been described as one of the most shocking upsets in modern sports history.
Yeah, for sure.
Mike said it was a rough night and he just couldn't beat Buster, who had trained exceptionally well.
Yeah.
He said the loss made him lose belief in himself as a fighter. I will say, every time Mike talks about his opponents, like, he gives it to them. He's always like, he's a great fighter. He trained good. Like, I lost. Like, he's just like, it was me. Like, I mean, I lost, you know? And I do like that kind of acknowledgement that he gives other fighters.
Mm-hmm. Because lesser fighters, not just fighters, but
okay, but think about fucking Mayweather. Would he ever fucking say some shit like that?
Right,
no.
Right.
Yeah, he's a douche. Mike came back to first round knockouts of Henry Tillum and Alex Stewart after this. And that set him up for another shot at the undisputed world heavyweight champ title, which by now was being held by Evander Holyfield, who had taken it from Douglas in his first defense of the title. This is why I'm interested in Douglas too, because I mean, he lost it so fast, right? After taking it from Mike, who had held it for so long.
Yeah.
Mike was the number 1 contender, and he faced number 2 contender Donovan Ruddock in 1991 in Vegas. Ruddock was stopped in the 7th round controversially by referee Richard Steele. They met again on June 28th at Caesar's Palace, with Tyson knocking Ruddock down twice and winning by unanimous decision. Mike and Evander set up their title match for November 8th, 1991, but Mike pulled out because he ended up injuring his ribs during training. Mm-hmm. So they were going to pick a new date. Like, they were in the midst of picking a new date when in July 1991, Mike was arrested for the rape of 18-year-old Desiree Washington in an Indianapolis hotel room. Ugh. Desiree was Miss Black Rhode Island. Uh-huh. Mike had met with the contestants of, like, Miss Black, I think it's called. The Miss Black America pageant.
Okay.
While they were competing. He claims that everything took place with full consent and that he did not force himself upon her, obviously. Mm-hmm. He denied claims that he had misled Desiree, and he insisted that she wanted to have sex with him. From the very, very beginning, he declared his innocence, saying that he loved women, he respected women, and he did not do this to her. Mm-hmm. Desiree testified that Mike called her to his room at 1:45 in the morning, asking her to come down to his limo to talk and hang out. So she says she went down to talk to him. She woke up, she got dressed, she went down to talk to him, and she said she wanted to get a picture with him to give to her father because he was the fucking champ.
Yeah.
Then they went back to Mike's hotel room, and she said that Mike whispered to her that she really turns him on, and then threw her on the bed and raped her while she screamed in pain.
Oh, no.
In one of the early press conferences regarding the arrest, Don King is present, and he's yelling at the press saying that this is a frivolous lawsuit. Mm-hmm. Mike's team and a lot of people at the time were standing up for Mike, saying that as a black man and as a boxer, he had no chance to win because of the prejudices against black men and violent stereotypes. Mm-hmm. However, Desiree's story was corroborated by Mike's chauffeur, Virginia Foster, who confirmed Desiree's state of shock after the encounter.
Oh my goodness. Thank goodness there was a witness.
And her emergency room physician, Thomas Richardson, also testified at trial. He had examined Desiree after the incident and confirmed that her physical condition was consistent with rape.
Okay.
Desiree was fucking hounded by the press.
Oh, no.
And she had to give an interview, and she says something really sad, like, I didn't do this to take his career away from him. I didn't do this for money or for fame. I was raped, and I'm not scared to stand up to him.
She's 18 years old? Oh, my God. Wow.
The jury deliberated for 10 hours before convicting Mike of the rape charge, deviant conduct, and confinement on February 10th, 1992. Mike's attorney, Alan Dershowitz, filed an appeal urging error of the law in the exclusion of evidence showing the victim's past sexual conduct, 3 defense witnesses, and jury instruction on reasonable mistake of fact. But the appellate court voted down the request for appeal. I also want to take this chance to give a huge middle finger to Mike's appellate counsel, Alan Dershowitz, who in a clip said one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard. Quote, "The rule of groupies is very clear. You get 15 to 20 minutes of not very good sex with an athlete, no kiss goodnight, no romance, but bragging rights with your friends. Everybody knows those rules. Mike shouldn't go to jail because of the groupie phenomenon in this country."
Fuck him.
Fuck you, bro.
Okay, he's going to be one of those people that comes up every few episodes also.
Fuck that fool.
Remember Klaus von Bülow?
Yeah.
And Epstein, his little friend Epstein. Fuck.
Throughout the trial and investigation, the public showed massive support for Michael. There's videos of people yelling, "I love you" to him while he's walking into court and shit. And there's videos of other people standing outside of the courtroom with protest signs saying no means no. And then obviously these 2 groups of people would get into screaming matches with each other. It's really sad. This whole situation is awful. I don't really know how to talk about this, but it did become kind of like a larger conversation about race also, because of it was a jury trial.
Yeah. And I think the conversation is valid.
It is valid, but at what expense?
Right.
You know, like, is this the time? I mean, I get it. Like, it is a time when it's being brought up, and I get it. But notwithstanding those prejudices, you could still have committed this crime.
Yeah,
and
for
there
sure.
should still be justice for this victim.
Like, do you see those memes where it's like, it shows like Bill Cosby in jail,
Right.
and it shows like Harvey Weinstein out. Or whatever. But like,
I get it. Like, I get it. Because that racism like that does exist. And in the criminal system, it absolutely exists. And that's why we see black men and people of color statistically in jail for crimes that white people commit, probably at the same rate, but
or
they
more
just
so.
Right. And they're just not being jailed for it, you know?
But then what are you, but
then you don't get a pass. That doesn't mean like, because you commit that crime, you get a pass.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. On March 26, 1992, Mike appeared for sentencing. He was given 6 years in prison along with 4 years of probation. He was 25 years old, so he was assigned to the youth center.
Oh, what's considered
I don't know.
Okay. A youth.
Yeah. During his incarceration, he converted to Islam and adopted the name Malik Abdul Aziz. After serving less than 3 years, he was released. Mike maintains his innocence to this day. He said going to prison made him lose his humanity. He saw prisoners acting barbaric, throwing feces, urine. He saw race wars. He saw rapes. He said he couldn't believe what he saw and what had happened to him. So he's consistently, like, the tale Mike tells regarding this crime and everything is him as the victim. Upon release, Mike's entourage, including Don King, greeted him and escorted him by limo to his home. He was followed by about 200 fans and followers, and Muhammad Ali met with him once he was freed and encouraged him to go back to fighting. So Mike went back to fighting.
I mean, what else is he going to do?
Exactly. He easily won his 2 comeback fights against Peter McNeely and Buster Mathis. His first comeback grossed more than $96 million, including a record $63 million for pay-per-view.
Shit.
And the fight only lasted 89 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Could you imagine? Also around this time, he famously bought some tigers, and there's pictures of Mike with like tigers and shit.
I like almost forget about the tigers now.
Yeah. So it's such like a drop in the bucket, right?
Yeah.
Mike said after prison, he didn't have the same confidence that he had before. But he would put up a front in order to try to scare his opponents like he always had.
This part of it is part of boxing is that mental game.
For sure. At the weigh-in for the Peter McNeely fight, he starts cussing out an interviewer and he says this crazy shit. He's like, I'm going to eat your ass and I'm going to fuck you till you love me.
What?
Yeah, he's like going fucking crazy.
That's up there with I'm going to keep feeding you and feeding you.
I'm going to fuck you till you love me. Bro, you were just convicted
I've tried that.
of rape.
It doesn't work.
Oh my God. Man. At this time, also, Mike had some accountants look into his money now that he's out of jail. And he calls Don King a, quote, wretched, reptilious motherfucker who would kill his own mother for $1.
Yo.
Mike found that a lot of his money had been missing. And when he found out it was Don King, he handled it like you would think he was going to handle it. Okay. He confronted Don King in front of the Beverly Hills Hotel, Don King denied everything, and then Mike beat the shit out of him in front of what he calls 2 decrepit white women who must have thought I was a crazy black heathen.
Okay. Decrepit. Oh, I can't wait to call somebody decrepit.
He said in the interview, he's like, I love Don King, but I stomped the shit out of him. I think I blacked out.
Damn, he was so mad he blacked out.
Then has that ever happened to you? Hell no, huh?
No.
No, of course not. Then Mike went to court and against Don King, and he says like he got a settlement of like $20 million or something. And he's like, in the end, it didn't even matter, but it was like mostly like it destroyed the little trust that I still had in people. Mm-hmm. What Mike really wanted at this time were all of his fucking belts back. So he signed up to fight Franco Bruno for the WBC title next. Mm-hmm. Tyson knocked Bruno out in the 3rd round and then tried to get a fight going with Lennox Lewis. Lennox turned down $13.5 million to fight Tyson, which would have been his highest paying fight to date.
Yeah.
Don King had Lewis paid $4 million to step aside and let Mike fight Bruce Seldon first.
Ah, okay.
Lewis expected Mike to defeat Seldon and fight him next, and Don was guaranteeing Lennox Lewis $30 million for that fight.
Yeah.
Mike fought Bruce Seldon on September 7th, 1996 at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada. He beat him in the 1st round, and Seldon was heavily mocked in the press for collapsing to Mike. Mm-hmm. You may remember this fight as being historically significant in the last public appearance of Tupac Shakur.
That's right.
After which Tupac famously fought a group of Crips in the MGM lobby and was later shot to death on Las Vegas Boulevard. For more on that, listen to our Tupac episode. I don't remember what it's called. It's very early on. Mike wanted to defend his WBA title against Evander Holyfield, who was at this time having his own comeback following a brief retirement in 1994. Don King and other boxing people thought that Evander was like a washed up fighter and a huge underdog. Mm-hmm. But they ended up fighting in November in a title fight named Finally.
I love when fights have names.
Me too, dude. The Thrilla in Manila is like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to beat that, but...
Yeah.
Oh, the Rumble in the Jungle, actually.
That one's sick, too. You think Don King came up with that shit?
Oh, for sure.
What a dick. Evander defeated Tyson by TKO when the ref stopped the fight in the 11th round. Evander was the 2nd boxer in history to win a heavyweight championship belt 3 times.
Wow.
Mike's camp threw a fit, alleging that Evander kept headbutting during the fight, but they were all ruled an accident.
You know, my dad was just telling me that Evander is broke.
I believe it, because he retires and then he comes out of retirement because he has money problems.
Yeah.
So I mean, I believe it. I'm sure if you had money problems once, you probably takes a lot to fix it, right?
But a dude who at some point was worth, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah. But they spend like that and they don't think like this is going to end. Mm-hmm. They just imagine they're going to consistently make that type of money. But what are you going to be fucking boxing in your 80s? Come on, bro. Mike said that at this time, he was partying all the time, going out all the time, quote, having a tremendous amount of sexual activity.
You would think that prison would have changed him, maybe.
On,
I mean, actually, no, because our prison system isn't set up to.
Yeah, to actually rehabilitate.
Yeah.
So he says that was the root of his loss to Evander. But Mike credits Evander. He says, like, he's a ferocious fighter. He absolutely deserved that win. He just says, like, this is why I lost, you know?
Yeah.
On April 19th, 1997, Mike married Monica Turner, a medical school student. She was the sister of Michael Steele, who was the governor of Maryland.
Hold up. The Michael Steele, president of the Republican?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, he's Republican.
That's fucking crazy. I never knew that.
They had 2 children together, a son named Amir and a daughter named Raina. So they stayed married until 2002 when she filed for divorce, saying adultery, obviously. Mm-hmm. Mike had a rematch with
Did he still have money?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so she must have gotten a little payout.
Hopefully, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mike had a rematch with Evander Holyfield on June 28th, 1997, and it was being called The Sound and the Fury.
But I mean, that's too.
It's not as good.
It's too classy for boxing.
Yeah,
who is that? Is that Faulkner? Right?
I think it's isn't it Hemingway? No, I think you're right. Yeah, William Faulkner.
That's not boxing, you guys.
Hell no. Hemingway would be more appropriate.
You're right.
That motherfucker like to fight.
When me and Steph fight, we're gonna call it The Old Man and the Sea.
A farewell to arms. This fight was held at MGM Grand, and it was hella lucrative, drawing even more attention than the first fight. Mike was paid $30 million and Evander was paid $35 million. That's before being paid by pay-per-view and their sponsors.
Also, check this out. We're entering a new era of like
boxing payouts.
Yeah.
Yeah. They became the highest paid professional boxers up until that point.
Ooh.
In the first round, Mike boxed cautiously. He said he felt groggy, and he credits that again to headbutts from Evander, which led to him getting a cut eye.
This I remember like it was yesterday.
Oh, this was huge.
Because this was like Mills Lane was the referee, right?
Is it Mills Lane? I don't remember.
I think it's Mills Lane because I remember like Mike protesting.
He complains. Yeah. The ref does nothing. This is according to Mike, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, the ref does nothing. I keep protesting. In round 3, Mike's fucking pissed and he starts fighting with a lot of strength, a lot of ferociousness. Mm-hmm. You see, he's mad. Mm-hmm. Mike says, I was so mad I wanted to kill him.
Shit.
Then in round 3, he loses his cool, bites Evander's ear and pushes him. Mm-hmm. They stop the fight. They're like looking at what the fuck happened. Right. Evander's fucking bleeding from the ear. Everybody's like, what the fuck? Right. And then they start the fight again, which I think is crazy.
It's so crazy.
And at that moment, like when they stop the fight, like Mike, he really looks fucking crazy in his eyes. Like he's like, yeah, like he's got crazy eyes. Like, I mean, he just bit a motherfucker. Like
the bite heard round the world. Like this,
right?
Shit
started World War III.
Yeah.
So this fight starts again. And Mike fucking bites him again.
This is insane.
It's so insane.
He's definitely not in his right mind, right? Like, you can't, this isn't a thing that happens in a ring.
In professional sports, yeah. Immediately, Mike was disqualified. They stopped the fucking match. All these people jump into the ring. It erupts with all these people everywhere. Mike starts taking swings at like whoever the fuck is coming his way. Wow. Security jumps in and detains him.
Imagine, like, that's your job. You got to go detain Mike Tyson.
Right?
Hell no. I quit.
After the fight, Mike said, I went home, I got high by myself, and I went to sleep.
That sounds like what you needed to do, my dude, because...
Before the fight, maybe.
Yeah.
He was fined $3 million. He said he didn't care at that point. He was bitter towards boxing, and he wasn't interested in being a champ anymore. All he wanted at that point was to get some money.
$3 million doesn't sound like enough considering his
how much he got paid.
Right.
Yeah. On June 8th, Mike finally signed on to fight Lennox Lewis. He was selling the shit out of this fight. Mm-hmm. He was threatening Lennox on TV, saying some crazy shit like, I'm going to eat your heart. I'm going to eat his children. Praise be Allah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy when he says that. At a news conference, he walked up brazenly and Lennox like throws a punch at him. And then Mike goes fucking nuts, and security has to hold both of them back.
Yeah, I like Lennox Lewis a lot. I like
cool ass name.
I like black guys with British accents. First of all,
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a vibe.
I like it.
I like Indian guys with British accents too.
That's my whole ass personality right there. That's just not a vibe. That's a lifestyle right there. I also like Lennox Lewis, his like logo or whatever. He would always have like a lion crest. I don't know. I like him.
Yeah, for sure. Lewis beat the shit out of Mike in this match. The fight ended with a fucking knockout. Mike said he knew he was in bad shape. He was in no condition to win. This was the first fight that he said he signed on for 100% for the paycheck. Mike said, I'm not somebody that knows how to live in the middle. Like, I want to have all the money or I don't want to have any fucking money. So when my money starts going down, like, I don't know what to do except try to make as much more as I can. Mm-hmm. In 2005, Mike fought against Kevin McBride in a sloppy, sad match, ending with him sitting against the ropes. Like, it's fucking embarrassing. Yeah. Before this match, he famously flew to Vegas to get a New Zealand tribal band tattooed on his face. So that was the debut look. Mike quits after the 6th round, literally refusing to get up from his stool. Mm-mm. He said he gives an interview, the post-fight interview, and he's like, I just don't have it in me anymore. I don't have the fighting guts anymore. He apologizes for letting the viewers down. He admitted that at this point he was just fighting to take care of some bills.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm likely never going to fight again. I don't want to disrespect this sport.
Well, Mike got more respect for the sport of boxing than for women.
Yeah, that's true though. After this, Mike got into a little bit of legal trouble. In 2007, he pled guilty to drug possession stemming from an arrest in December when he failed a breathalyzer. Then he did some exhibition matches to pay off some debts. He went through a tough time emotionally, saying in interviews that he was really embarrassed by himself and where his life had ended up. He felt like he had no dignity left, and he spent a lot of his time alone in his mansion in Arizona, where he was raising 350 pigeons.
That's too many.
Raise your kids, my dude. What the fuck? Mike then checked into rehab in connection with that drug crime in late 2006. In 2007, he pled guilty of cocaine possession and went to jail for 1 day. After his release, he again went into rehab to try to seek help for his drug problems. In 2009, he famously played a fictionalized version of himself in the massive blockbuster movie, The Hangover. Mm-hmm. I feel like The Hangover kind of brought him back into the spotlight.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he had kind of been like a has-been before that.
Right.
And then he became linked to this huge movie and people kind of remembered him as a champ.
Yeah.
The same year, not the rapist he is. The same year, his 4-year-old daughter was found by his 7-year-old son tangled in a cord dangling from an exercise treadmill.
This is the saddest thing I have ever heard in my life.
Their mother administered CPR, but his daughter died of her injuries the next day in the hospital.
Oh my God.
11 days later, Mike got married for the 3rd time to his longtime girlfriend, Kiki Spicer.
Wow.
They had 2 children by the time they got married, a daughter named Milan and a son named Morocco. He's still married to that girl.
Huh.
And actually, his second wife, Steele's
Monica?
sister, yeah, he like talks about her really fondly. He's like, I shouldn't have been married when I married her, but she's like the best mother. He he's like, she like 100% dedicates herself to our kids. Like, I couldn't ask for a better mother, and she's a really good friend, and I wish we would have always just been friends. Like,
is it her daughter that died?
No, he had 2 other children from other women. In August 2012, Mike hooked up with Spike Lee for a one-man show on Broadway. It ended up going on a 3-month national tour where he talks about his personal and professional life on stage. And it aired on HBO in 2013, and it's still on HBO. This is that one. It's called, I don't remember. Undisclosed Truth or something
like that. I've seen it.
Yeah, I watched part of it.
It's I remember watching it and thinking, like, being shocked at the fact that he was able to keep it together, like to do a whole ass show, sort of.
Right. He's somebody that I think will always be able to get gigs where he speaks, because for being like such a crazy fighter, he's super vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And people love seeing men vulnerable.
Yeah.
right? And he also is like so outlandish, like you don't know what the fuck he's gonna say or what's gonna come out of his mouth, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think he'll always be able to get gigs like that. In 2012, Mike started the Mike Tyson Cares Foundation, which he says is to give kids a fighting chance. It provides for centers for kids from broken homes. In 2013, his book, The Undisputed Truth, that's what it's called, was published, and it appeared on the New York Times bestsellers list. That same year, he gave an interview on Ellen saying that he had improved his life with a vegan diet and sobriety. But later that same year, in another interview, he said he fucking was lying and he's on the verge of dying from alcoholism.
Oh my God.
In 2015, Michael endorsed Trump for president. In 2017, he started a YouTube channel where he launched parody music videos and comedy sketches. And from 2018 to date, he's been working on a marijuana growing farm and dispensary called the Tyson Ranch in Waco, Texas. It's supposed to be like a weed resort company eventually. And yeah, he promotes the shit out of it, saying that he allegedly smokes like $40,000 worth of weed a month and that the weed, you know, is helping him with all of his problems.
So this is like his Dollywood one day?
Right.
Okay.
And that's pretty much up to date with Mike. He's still accredited as one of the greatest boxers of all time. Critics say that his run as a champion faced underwhelming competition, but his knockout power and intimidation factor made him a star.
Yeah.
In 2011, he was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame alongside Mexican boxer Julio Cesar Chavez.
Hey.
And that's the story of Mike Tyson.
Woo! The thing about Mike that I've always found interesting is like that vulnerability that you're talking about. Like,
right.
There's like, if something would have gone different in his life, like he could have been, I don't know. It's hard to say.
A really great man, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's not. Because you look at like I don't know. I don't want to keep comparing him to Mayweather, but it's just like another like huge boxer, right? Mayweather's such a dick. Like,
yeah.
Like it's like at least he seems human, you know, like he makes himself seem human.
And he's, I don't know, he's he seems to philosophize a lot about
how he is, who he is.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, let's say, what was the name of the guy he moved in with? The like when he was a kid.
Oh, Customato?
Yeah, Customato. Like if that guy would have been able to kind of be a influence in his life for longer than he was, like who knows
what could have happened.
Yeah
It's a sad story.
I'd be curious to see I want to see maybe he has some CTE or something.
I hope. Yeah. Oh, I mean, no. I mean, have we seen boxers with that? I mean, I know wrestlers and
boxers have it too. But
I'm sure.
But also, Mike didn't really take a lot of hits.
Yeah, that's true, though.
You know? So I'm just curious to see what his brain looks like.
Right. Well, guys, that's this week's episode. Hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at Drama Club Pod, on the website dramaclubpod.com.
On the hotline, 505-539-0556. Leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. And guys, this is the last Drama Club of the year.
Tune in next year. Hey!
So we'll talk to you on Monday the 6th with a brand new Afternoon Delight episode. We hope you guys had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yep. Or whatever else you celebrate.
Yeah, true. Happy holidays, y'all. And thank you for all your support in 2019 and hope 2020 will be an even better year.
Bye.
Bye.
However, whatever with your helmet.